Hi everybody, my name is Desmond, and today I will be showing you some good tips and some new facts and ways on how to catch more bass and brim. Now let's walk over this way to my tackle box. My items I have to show you today are some simple things that I use on my day-to-day fishing day. Our first item we have here is a 3-inch cork. This cork right here is used mostly on brim, white perch, and bass. You can use a cork when you're bass fishing on times when you're using a live minnow. You can use this cork when you're brim fishing, when you want to use a cricket or a worm. It can go either way. Now, this hook I have right here, this is a 2-inch needle nose hook. This hook right here is used for bass and white perch also. You can use this when you're just using soft baits, or you can use a live bait with this hook right here. Now, further on down the line, it's the real big hooks you use. It's the 6-inch redstone hooks. I use these hooks right here specifically for my crawfish tails. So open them up for you. These crawfish tails are a real winner when it comes to bass. You see the pumpkin seed color it has on it? That's a real good color when you have murky water like you see out here on the lake. Now, this crawfish tail right here, I use this for when I'm fishing for bass or when I'm fishing for crappie. It's a real killer. Now, if I can fish this bait 2 types of ways. I can fish this bait right here just on the shallow on top of the water, or I can use my favorite weights, are the 3x8 ounce bullet head weights. You use these baits when you want to jig it, or you see in the brush over here, if I wanted to use this right here, I would use these bullet heads to fish in this jiggy area over here to pick the bass out of the spots, as you can see from the branches. Okay. Today I will be demonstrating the proper ways and the best places to throw your rod and throw your lure out to catch that big bass you're looking for. Now, this lure right here we'll be using is called the torpedo. Well known for catching big bass in shallow waters. As you can see in this left corner over here, these shallow waters and bushes, we might just come out with a big bass. We're just demonstrating for today, but I just want to give you guys some good pointers and some good spots to look at when you're catching that big bass. Let's observe. Now, what we're gonna do, you see how we have these 2 branches on the side right here? Bass love to lurk in these areas. You always see lots of minnows. They look for minnows, shads, and all kind of frogs and lizards and stuff. They all live up in these branches right here. And throwing this torpedo out in the middle of it is just like another big bug or another big fly on top of the water. Now, for our first test, we're going to test right along this side over here. Now, notice how I sit there and just let the buzz bait just sit there for a minute. When you fishing with this buzz bait, you want to let it sit there for a second or so. If not, you give it a little jerk. Give it a little jerk. Now, at this time doing, we're gonna sit here and watch and see what we get. If you're not getting nothing, we're just gonna keep moving it on. Okay, that's sample 1. That's a real good spot for when you're looking for a big bass and a little brush over here. Our second sample of the day is you've seen these 2 branches over here. Another real good spot where bass and stuff will be lurking in. Remember what I said, always let your buzz bait sit for a second, because you never know what might happen. Now I'm going to give it a little jerk. Alright. Now, that's what I I have for that spot. Now in our last spot, even though we haven't caught nothing in our last two spots, I really have faith in this spot that we might come up with something real big. If not, we can always try again another day. But this is just some of the tips I have to show you guys. And another thing to look for, guys, when you have nice bubbles like that behind it, always sit there and let it just sit for a minute. You know, when bass see those bubbles, they will come up to the surface and see what it is. That's a real big thing when you sit there. Now you see that right there? I just caused some attraction in that little area over there. Even though I didn't get a bite, I did get a bass to come up to the top and see what the action was. I really hope you guys have learned something from today. My name is Desmond. You got some of my famous tips. Until next time, guys.